We are live. Welcome to the Deal Champs podcast. I'm your co-host, Stratton Brown, aka Strat Daddy. I've scaled two different companies to seven figures. We have a seven-figure real estate portfolio. I got started in real estate back in 2018, 2019 with absolutely zero life skills. And now I know how to make money out of thin air. And I think it's a pretty cool skill to have.
That's a cool
We
skill.
have, right? I think it's a pretty cool skill. We have Mr. Dean Rogers, Captain America, with us, and another very special guest. Dino, give us a quick intro.
What's up, guys? Dean Rogers, you're the co-host here. Started my career in the NFL, then transitioned to corporate, then into real estate. Been investing in real estate a decade now in Central California. Done over 750 plus deals, fix and flips and wholesales. Have an 8-figure rental portfolio, and we've got the Deal Champs community. You guys can check us out at dealchamps.com.
We have Farling. I'm gonna call you the master of revenue, bro. His
I was
storage
say,
facilities do.
you guys are introing yourselves. I need to work on that. You need to give me like 10 minutes to write something down because my intro is not going to be that good.
I mean, he has a storage portfolio that does about $2 million a year in revenue at a 25% expense ratio with 3 employees. That sounds like the best fucking business in the world.
It's a good intro right there. Hey, write that down for him.
Yeah. Email that to me so I can remember that.
To me, that sounds like the ideal business. And obviously, you have debt, but still, bro, that's crazy. Welcome to the pod.
Yeah,
Give us a
man.
quick intro.
Appreciate you guys having me on.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. Jon Farling owns, like you said, self-storage in Ohio. We've got 14 sites right now. Started buying storage in 19, but was doing single family rentals before that. I didn't have many, had 4, was buying 1 per year. Got out of my 9-to-5 in 20 during COVID, and that was because of storage. And then, yeah, man, I mean, I played college basketball. I'm around some athletes here, so got to put that in there. But
You still hoop?
yeah, well, yes. Yes, I do, but we've been off the past 2 months because the gym's been under construction, I guess. But yeah, I do play once a week.
Nice.
Dean, I'm telling you,
got
bro,
a good
we
shot
gotta
or
have
what?
some real estate hoops.
That's all man. I'm 43, so that's all I can do right at this point is shoot.
I keep telling Strat that I don't want to play basketball with real estate investors or any investors, business people for that sense, that I know, because they're probably not regular basketball players. They're in there, they got a chip on their shoulder, they're an entrepreneur, so they always got something to prove. They're going to come in there like hack a Shaq and undercut you, injure you. They're just trying to like show you why they're boss and why they're top dog on the court. I'm like, I don't want to play with those people.
Yep.
I want to play with the gym rats who play every day, who are good, know how to play. Strat brought up a good point. You can predict like what they're going to do. You can anticipate what they're going to do, what a natural athlete should do in that situation, versus these people that come out and they got a point to prove and they're jumping in front of you, doing all sorts of weird stuff. And it's like, dude, that's how you get injured.
100%. Yeah, and the place that I play, 90% of the people have an idea how to play. So that's why I've stuck there. But every time I go, I'm like, all right, listen, I'm over 40, right? Like anything could go at any moment. I'm going to play 3-point line to 3-point line, not going inside that. And then it's like 5 minutes in, and I'm like all over the place trying to prove something to somebody, and it's all
yourself.
That goes out the window.
Yourself.
Myself, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
You still got it. I've done that to myself way too many times to count. All right, I'm going to be good. I'm going to chill. I'm going to take it slow. And then I'm freaking drive into the paint hard, going for boards hard. I'm like,
Yeah.
What'd you play in college?
What I play, I was point guard. Now, when I say I played in college, like I'll give you a little bit more than that. I fought as hard as I possibly could to make the team. My freshman year, I was a walk-on. Freshman year, we had 40 some kids. It was insane. 30 some kids quit the first 2 weeks, just 6 a.m. workouts. I hung on. Junior year, I started getting some minutes, and then senior year, I'm like, I'm done. I've been practicing so hard, grinding so hard, and not really seeing the minutes on the floor that was worth my time. So, Yeah, to me, it was more important that I grinded so hard. I learned how to work hard, right? That's what I got out of it, but I can still say, hey, I was on the team and played a little bit.
Anybody who's a walk-on, I will hire them immediately. Like if you made it 2 years as a walk-on
Yep.
in college athletics, like bro, you're hired. Let's
Yep.
fucking go
Walk
get
on is
something done.
hard, man. There's just even if you get a scholarship and aren't playing, like you're just kind of cruising. But a walk on always has it harder.
Yep. Oh yeah, because they're going to play the kid. Even if you're 10% better than a scholarship kid, you're not playing.
No, bro, you have to
They're
be
playing the
leaps and
scholarship
bounds
kid.
ahead.
Yep.
You have to be so far ahead
Yep.
in order to get some play.
Yep.
Dean was a walk-on for 6 years.
Yeah, 6 years.
No, Dean's
for
just
6 years.
Dean's just bad at football. Like I was better than Dean at football.
Strat's just a hater.
I was better than Dean at football. I would have locked him down. I would have blown him up in the hole. I for sure would have cut out his stupid little knees and blew up the
Hey,
play.
these tree trunks, dude, not a chance.
Bro,
I would have loved to go. I would have loved to go against you 1-on-1.
Dean would have tried to catch balls, can't catch any balls. Would have tried run stop me.
These hands don't drop balls. You should see these hands.
Receiver or tight end?
Tight end.
Nice. Where'd you
He
play?
went to the Chargers for a year.
Oh, nice.
Like he actually did make it.
That's awesome.
Not as much me. All right, bro. So, what made you transition from the singles into storage? Because like I had a certain realization point where I was like, all right, I don't ever want to buy another house again. This is the type of asset class I would like to buy. What made you, and how did you like find out about storage?
Because you said you were buying single family before.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, first one was in I think it was beginning of 15. I think I got under contract end of 14. Still working a 9 to 5. And after a couple of years of that, I'm like, okay, I see how real estate can get me out of this. But I started thinking, I'm like, what does this look like? Do I need 50 houses, 100 houses? And to me, and I remember talking to Strat, Mike Wagner, found him in 18, I think. I started thinking about how that would look, and I'm like, single family is going to be too passive for me. I can't quit my job and have something so passive, which is funny because we don't really see single family as being passive, right? I'm sure with 100 doors, it wouldn't have been passive. No. But I started looking at anything and everything. I was looking at businesses. I was looking at car washes, apartments, everything. And this is 17, 18. Like, just nothing makes sense. Nothing made sense at the time. And looking back, if I would have bought everything, I'd be a billionaire by now. But nothing made sense on paper. I think I put an offer in on a car wash. Deal fell through, but I found out I could do SBA financing with that, which means typically you can bring less than 25% down as a down payment. Mm-hmm. So found that out. Also found out I could do that with self-storage. So that's how I found self-storage, was that I could do SBA financing, bring less money down, and get in the bigger deals that were commercial deals, and just scaled from there.
With SBA financing, what's the basically the most leverage you can get? What's the least amount that you would need to bring down? And does it ever go higher? Is it like a fixed amount? How do they determine what that amount is?
The highest I've seen is 15%, but I think it also, every bank you call is going to tell you something different. That's one thing that I found, because SBA is government backed, but you also have a portion of the money coming from the bank. So every bank's going to tell you something different. The highest I've seen is 15%. That was my first 2 deals. I did 15%. The lowest I've seen, and what I was told is this changed in June. Some bill was passed or whatever, that you can't go under 10% now. Because technically really? I did a deal, when was that? End of 23 maybe, that I brought like 3% down. So yeah, there are now with businesses, it may look different. I don't know, but I was told as of June this year, you can no longer bring less than 10% down. But you can also have the seller finance your down payment to where, you can bring less than 0%.
Is that not the case on conventional financing? Like you can only do it on SBAs, or you can on all of the above, but
depends on the bank. But yeah, conventional, I don't want to say most banks. I think there are definitely banks that will allow you to do that. Have the seller finance the down payment.
Yeah, I've heard of business dudes buying deals with absolutely zero money out of pocket. The seller will carry like a 20% note, and the bank and the SBA will have the rest, and they just have to cover closing costs or whatever. Like, it's pretty crazy.
Yep.
But it's an anal probe to get an SBA loan.
It is,
Like,
but you know what? I've got some
He's used
they're
to it. That's
similar
what
to
he's trying to say.
CMBS loan. What's
you're
that?
used to it. That's what basketball guys are about.
He's used to it. He's like, you know what? It's not that big of a deal. I'm
Used to
actually
it.
I've come to like and enjoy it rather. you know?
Right. Honestly, I don't have any full non-recourse deals, but I've got some semi non-recourse, and they were just as bad, if not worse, than SBA as far as the underwriting, the anal pro, all that. It's similar. So at this point, I've got basically a packet I can send everybody, and it's not that bad.
That's fair. Do you still use the SBA loan? Do you
Yeah.
have it left?
No. I actually, I'm looking at 2 deals right now. The one, more than likely, I'll do we just agreed on terms today, terms and price after about a year. I'm looking at SBA. The other deal I'm doing will either be SBA or seller financing.
So with that, you can only get up to $5 million at one time with SBA. Is that how it works?
No. So there's a 504 and there's a 7A. And I'm not a financial expert, but I know one of those you can do. I don't think there's a limit. There is one, you're right. One of those you only have up to 5 million. And maybe that's changed. I don't know, because of the new bill or whatever was passed. But yeah, 5 million is the max for one of them, or was the max.
And is this like non-recourse too, or is this full recourse?
No, it's full. Yeah.
So you have a PG on it, but still though. Are your rates competitive, or are you getting high interest rates?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully my bank's not listening right now, but yeah, the 1 year is like 6 3/4, 5 year, which I don't want to do anything less than 5 year. 5 year rate adjustment is like 7 1/4, I think. I think I can I don't want to say beat them down. I think I can get down to 6 3/4. I'll probably have to move my banking over to them, but 6 3/4, 10% down. I'm going to have the seller finance my down payment. Now I still have to bring my money for the down payment, but technically I get that back through seller financing. So it works. But yeah, after 5 years, it'll adjust to whatever prime is.
What do those typical terms look like? You just started talking about kind of commercial financing terms, 5-year term. What do the typical terms look like? Are there any access to 30-year term financing?
I've got one, and again, this goes back to the lender and the environment. So I've got one deal that is 30-year amortization. That was through a life insurance company. My other loans with them are 25-year. Why they did 30-year at the time, I don't know.
30-year AM, and then is it 30-year fixed?
10-year
as well?
10-year note,
10-year
and then
note.
it'll adjust from there. Yeah.
It'll
Got it.
adjust, or does it balloon?
It'll adjust.
That's still
Yeah.
really nifty though.
Yep. Yeah, 30-year. Now, a lot of banks, and I've been calling a decent amount recently, just kind of shopping. Most small community banks are going to be 20-year AM. I don't want to do anything more than 25-year. My goal as an investor is to hold. I'm not looking to flip. I don't want to say I'm not looking at the equity, because I do look at it a little bit, just because I need to have an escape plan, right? But I'm looking for cash flow. I'm just stacking cash flow as much as I can, and to me, the equity would take care of itself.
Are you looking at yields, or are you just looking at straight cash flow?
Cash flow. I could care less what the cap rate is. Don't care.
You're not even looking at a yield on your down payment?
Cash on cash return. I'll look at that. I'll look at my cash on cash return. I'm hoping to get my money back within 5 years. Knock on wood. Every deal that I've done just through cash, not through equity, just through cash flow.
Yeah.
Knock on wood. Every deal that I've done has knocked that out of the park, besides one, and the one deal that didn't, we're right about 4 or 5 years return.
And are all of these like self-financed? You don't raise any money, do you?
I don't raise money. No, all my money. Yep.
Do you ever want to raise money?
No. Especially now. And I know, Strat, I think you've raised some money. I don't know about you, Dean, but I know I've been around a lot of investors, especially last year, 18 months, to where a lot of, if you're not doing it right, if you're not, especially operating, if you're not operating correctly, there are a lot of syndicators that are in trouble right now, and they're trying to figure it out. They're trying to kick the can down the road. To me, it's safer, especially to start. Have a solid foundation. You've got equity in your deals, and then maybe you can go out and raise. But for me, it's just simpler. I don't have to answer to anybody but the banks, obviously. But it's simpler. I've got equity, got my own money in the deals, and I've got a good return on my money.
What's your goal overall? Like, what's the money goal? It's like, hey, I want to get here. And we've talked about like you're never going to stop, but this is like the overarching goal right now.
Yeah, I want to double it within the next. And this, I mean, this is my goal every month, right? So if I don't hit it, I only do, for the most part, in my mind, I've got month-long goals. Now I've got like a 6-month, year, 5-year, 10-year vision. But to me, I try to do more sprints for goals. So every month, my goal is to double my income that I'm making this month. Doesn't always work out that way. Most times it doesn't work out that way. But I've found that it motivates me and it pushes me.
Makes you
You
think
try to
a
go
little
from
different.
month to month to double.
So yeah, so what I'm making right now by August 1st, I want to double that. Now I know I won't say that's not realistic. At this point, it's probably not unless I land a pretty big deal. In the back of my mind, it's the goal is to do that at minimum by my next January. And then sometimes I adjust that too. But yeah, I like month-to-month goals as opposed to longer spread out goals. Because no matter what goal you put in, if you say this is my 5-year goal, it's going to take you 5 years, right?
Yeah.
You're probably not going to get there in 6 months because we're humans. That's how we're wired. It's going to take us that 5 years to get to that goal. So I do have a 5-year, 10-year kind of vision where I want to go in a way. But I'm better suited with short-term kind of thinking and vision.
Would you ever go outside of Ohio?
Yeah. Right now there's been enough deal flow for it to make sense. As we expand and can expand our operations, I would look at that. But there's at least 2 states bordering us that I don't want to invest in. They're just not investor-friendly states.
What do you have? Illinois and what else?
Illinois is on the other side, but we've got Indiana I would invest in. I don't know about Kentucky. But Michigan, no chance. Pennsylvania, no
That
chance.
seems like a tough state, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm
Why-
saying that
why
coming
no
from
on Michigan?
California, but
Yeah.
What do you have against Michigan? I just think nobody wants to buy real estate there, bro. We can't sell anything up there. It's fucking-
Yeah, that's I mean, just with self-storage deals, I see so many Michigan deals listed. I just don't, it's not, to me, it's not valuable real estate. Now, listen, I'm in Ohio. I get it. It's not really that much better, but Ohio's not
Ohio's on
changing.
the up and up.
It's, yeah, especially where I'm at, Central Ohio, it absolutely is. But yeah, I mean, we're in the Midwest. To me, Ohio is stable. To me, Michigan is not stable. I think there's more people moving out than moving in.
So what is Central Ohio? Is that Columbus?
Yeah.
So all your deals are in that major city, or are they on outskirts cities? What does that look like?
Yeah, I've got one in Columbus, and it's actually just all outdoor parking, which is interesting. All the other sites we have are about an hour radius of Columbus.
Okay. And so that's where you started. That's what you knew. That's what you were familiar with. Started in your own backyard. Was it difficult to find these deals? Like you were just like in the trenches, just like looking and making offers. And and the piggyback question of that is, were these off-market deals or were they through brokers?
Yeah, good question. And I'll start with the second one. So I think all my deals besides two sites, but it was one deal. No, I've 3 deals I've found on market. One was actually on Biz Buy Sell. So I guess technically off market, but all my other ones are off market through mailers. And it's funny, when I started looking at storage in 2018, I started looking in Columbus, and there were some deals that were listed. I'm like, these just don't make sense. How are people buying these at like 4 caps? Didn't make sense. So then where Strat and I met, Mike Wagner, Storage Rebellion, that's when I met Mike, and he was like, listen, I buy in rural markets or tertiary markets. I'm like, you know what? I never thought about that. And at the time, I actually had a student rental in the college that I went to. So it's a smaller market. So I already had a student rental there, but I never thought like maybe I should look at storage there. But as soon as Mike said that, I think I sent out 60 mailers, and I got technically 4 deals from that mailing campaign, which is stupid, right?
That's
not
insane.
doing that now. That's not happening now. But yeah, I mean, I sent maybe 40 more, so we'll call it 100 mailers, and got majority of my deals. Now some of that is extra legwork, a lot of follow-ups, and finding the ones that I really like and staying on top of them. And when they're ready to sell, I'm hopefully the one they reach out to. But yeah, my approach is more hunting with a sniper rifle, and I'm going after the ones and staying in touch with the sellers of the sites that I really like.
How are you targeting these sellers? Is it like your typical, they've owned it for X amount of years, they have this amount of equity? Is it that same type of criteria that you would search and target your marketing?
So I've looked at, that's a good question. And I've looked at basically just towns I want to be in. And now it's gotten a little bit easier because it's like, all right, I think I'm in 7 or 8 different markets. So it's a little bit easier now because I'd rather stay in or close to those markets. So my list is smaller. But I'm contacting anybody and everybody, other than REITs, right? Can't get anywhere with REITs. But I'm contacting anybody and everybody in that market, whether it's a small site. I mean, my small site is 6,000 square feet. We've expanded a little bit, but that thing cash flows.
City, bro?
What's that?
Is that in one city with no other, like nothing?
No, we already had one in that city.
Okay.
But even without that, so if I didn't, and I'd put some portable units down, some box wells down, but even when it was 6,000 square feet, I was cash flowing $1,500 a month. I got my money back within, I don't know, 18 months, something like that, from my down payment. So even though it's a small storage deal, and everyone says stay away from small storage deals, I love that deal. It's 40 some units. Now it's more now, it's 60 some, but super easy to manage. Cash flow is great. As far as now, it's not a ton of cash flow, but for that size of property, cash flow is great. But yeah, I contact anybody and everybody. I mean, our biggest one is, I think, 40,000 square feet. Then our smallest one is 6,000 square feet. So anybody and everybody in these markets, I contact, reach out to. The owners are definitely changing. The kind of low hanging fruit are gone. The great deals, I don't want to say they're all gone, but most of them are gone. The people that really, really, really had to sell. I mean, especially my first 2 deals I did in 19, those sellers were happy I was reaching out to them because they thought they just had a piece of junk. They didn't know anyone was even interested in buying it. So when I came along, they called me right away and were like, yeah, we're ready to sell right now. Take this thing off our hands. That's changed. There's not a ton of owners like that anymore. It's more, in fact, the one deal I'm working on right now, he's a buddy, and he bought from sellers similar to that, but now he's a sophisticated owner. So technically I'm probably paying retail, but because we've got scale in the area, it makes sense for me. But yeah, I'm buying from different people now than I was even 3 years ago.
Do you think that's just purely from the information age that we're in, the education that's out there about buying self-storage, YouTube University, all that stuff, that people are out there pounding the phones looking for deals, and all those sellers that were like, wait, you're interested in this property? Okay, yeah. How much do you want to pay for it? You think those sellers are gone because of that?
Because of COVID.
Mike Wagner's fault.
Yeah, because Mike Wagner, right? Because of COVID. COVID did it, man. Now we'll probably say end of 20, early 21 is when self-storage just took off, and technology. It was really hard to run a storage facility remotely because I run all mine remotely. We don't have anybody on site. It was really hard to do that 7 years ago. You could do it, but you had to piece some things together. It wasn't the easiest. COVID happened. No one was meeting anybody. So remote management really took over, and it's really easy to evict tenants, where during COVID, you couldn't do that in a lot of places, residential, office, retail. So it brought a lot of investors in. Now it's washed out, but yeah, over the course of 2-3 years, all those smaller mom and pops that that were owning these facilities are all bought out.
How much of your deal flow now comes from just people in the local area? Because whenever we buy something, I'll just go call every single owner.
Yeah.
I'm like, hey, I own this one. Are you interested in selling it? And I'll just start talking to them.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at now. I'm trying to buy in the same markets if possible. Now, the one deal I'm looking at, it's 4 sites in one town, and it's the only. Well, there's 5 sites technically, but the other site is really small. So I'm basically buying. It's monopoly. I'm buying the entire market, which is nice. But yeah, at this point, I'd rather stay in the markets we're in, or at least close to. And yeah, that's the people that I can buy from in those markets. They, without a doubt, know who I am and have my information to call me, email me.
That's what I've found is easier, and those deals make a lot of sense because your only overhead really is labor, and then the labor doesn't change, and so now your scale actually matters, in my opinion.
100%. Yep. Well, even we've got one maintenance guy across 14 sites
who just whips in the hour radius you're in.
Yep. Yeah, he lives close to me, which I'm in the middle of all of them, right? So he's close to me, which makes it easy. Now we did kind of get him a part-time helper for one town that's got 5 sites. But yeah, we've got one maintenance guy. So that's been huge, getting rid of all these little, because before we had in Strat, we had local boots on the ground is what they call them. And they're part-time people that are probably working between 1 to maybe 3 hours a week. Usually they're semi-retired or retired and they just want some extra work. Guess what kind of comes with that? It kind of comes with part-time, workmanship. So we've gotten a lot better just having a full-time person as far as communication, work done, everything. So it's been nice to do that, and that's only happened because we have scale now.
Yeah, I'm tertiary markets. I now I've had one massive deal that would cash flow like a beast and it was a home run. The other one, I'm like, I don't know if I'd want to do this. If I did it again in a tertiary market, it'd have to be somewhere where I'd want to go, or within 30 minutes to an hour of somewhere I'd actually enjoy visiting.
When you say tertiary, what's the population?
I'll tell you right now.
Because I'm in now, the one town I'm looking to buy in is 8,000. That's the least amount that I'll be in. But the smallest right now, I think, is 10 or 12,000, and then we're up to 50,000. And I've found, and it's funny because the town that we are in that has 50,000 people, we have 5 sites, and it performs the worst out of all the rest of mine. The towns that have,
that's
20,
your biggest
25,
size market.
Yeah, 50,000 people.
Wow. So you said you have one in Columbus,
yep,
which is obviously a bigger city, but all the other surrounding sites that you have are all in just small tiny towns.
Yep. And you think about it, no REIT is going to come in there. Now, the one town that's got 20, 25,000 people, there is one REIT there, just one,
Really?
Just one REIT. I'm okay with just one REIT, but my competition are Joe Bob and his cousins. Like, hey, let's put up some buildings, see what happens, right? So I would rather be in those markets. Now, when it's time to sell, will it be harder to sell? Probably. But right now, I'm just stacking cash flow. I think the equity will take care of itself. But I think there's other pros to that too. I mean, at some point with any industry, something comes along and disrupts it. More than likely, hopefully, I'm in a small enough markets where that disruption happens in Columbus or Chicago first, and I have time to adjust or pivot. So that, there's pros and cons. It will take longer and be harder to sell more than likely, but I think there's a lot of pros that come with it too.
Do you feel like because you're in these small cities, small towns, that your customers are better or worse?
That's a good question.
Because you're probably around enough people and masterminds that you're in and just in the community that you're in to like get feedback from people that maybe are in some bigger cities.
Yeah, that's a good question. So most of mine, well, all of mine are either at best class B minus or class C. They're all class C because they're all rural. They're not climate controlled, so they're all drive up. I think if you've got class A climate controlled, you see it, they look like hotels, right, on the corner of Main Street and High Street. Yeah, you're gonna have different clientele for those. But as far as the towns that I'm in, I don't know. It's probably the same type of customers. Now, I will say some towns are better than others just because of crime or whatever. We've got some towns have more auctions that happen than other towns. But the towns that the median income is lower, they love their storage. So even though we may have more auctions and more issues there, we don't have a problem filling up, and the cash flow is a lot better.
What does that turnover and auction process look like? Do you have a lot of turnover in these smaller cities? And you say you've got the virtual management, you've got some system to just turn that over and it's fine. Or are you having to send people out a lot? Are you having to do a lot of auctions? What does that whole thing look like?
Yeah, so I'm out of the whole, for the most part, 99.9%. I'm out of the day-to-day operations. So to explain all of it, it's been a few years since I've been in it. But yeah, we can basically auction someone's items off after, I think it's 60 days after they're past due in Ohio. Don't quote me on that, but it's something like that. And every state's different. Every state has their own different lien laws. But yeah, we basically send them letter, text, call. We try to get them a hold of them the best we can, try to get money out of them. If they don't, they're going to auction. Our maintenance guy cuts the lock, videos everything inside the unit, and then he'll send that to our call center / management company. They upload it to the website, the storage website, the storage auctions website, and then they auction it off. Some don't sell, some sell for $10, and then we don't have to clean it out. Some will sell for, I think the highest we've had is, we had one at least $3,000. We may have sold one for $5,000 at one point. But for the most part, 99% of the time, it's trash. It's maybe a couple clothes and someone will pay $10, $20 and empty a unit for us.
You guys have people showing up for the auctions like Storage Wars, or just one person typically show up? What does that look like?
So we don't do that in person. When I started, we did, and that was during COVID. So we were doing auctions during COVID, and people absolutely loved it. There was one, it may have been the last one I did in person, or at least that I attended. I think we had over 100 people, which is insane. It was a small site. It was, I think, 13,000 square feet. We had like 100 people because it was May. I think it was May of 20. So people were just happy to get inside their house. And we had over 100 people, and I wasn't holding a ton of cash, but it was probably a couple $100. In my mind, I'm like, any one of these people could come up and just take this money from me and run. And what am I going to do about it? So I learned, like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do in-person auctions. So I had, at the time I was using an auctioneer. I had him do maybe one or two more. And then we did everything online. So now no one shows up on site until they win a unit. They get a gate code. They find out what unit they go to. They take off the lock that we put on, combination lock, and then they get the stuff out the unit. So, yeah, we don't have in-person auctions at all. So it's not like Storage Wars that you see on TV.
Okay.
Susanville's market is 13,000 people, bro.
13,000,
but I'd say the demographic is crazy. I have learned, like, it's a D-class area overall because there's not a lot of commerce. And you can have, like, one of our friends whose stuff was in Louisiana. I drove by some of that shit, bro. I don't know how he managed that. Yeah. It was in, like, the heart of the projects. And, like, you can have stuff like that. it's just give or take. Do you have, so nothing's climate controlled?
Nope.
Do you have gates around all your stuff, or is it just hit or miss?
13 of 14, we have gates, fence. Yep.
Did you put them up or no?
It's a mix, and I could half and half maybe. Majority of them were probably fenced. Half of them I put the gate, or at least got the gate working. It's funny, a lot of the old owners didn't want the gate working. They thought that was a liability. They didn't know how to. And this goes back to the real remote management that really took over during COVID. Now our gates are tied into our software, so I don't have to go and open it for anybody. If someone's gate code doesn't work, we can fix it through the software. We can we can remotely open the gate from our software. So a lot of those things has changed storage tremendously to allow us to scale and run, no one on site.
Bro, I don't think it'll be hard for you to sell your portfolio if you sell the whole thing.
Yeah.
If
and
you're
that's
selling one, it'd be hard. Selling the whole thing, I feel like it makes sense.
And that's the plan, right? To a larger regional player that, you already have systems and operations built in when you take over day one.
Yeah, because I mean, that's a lot of revenue to buy.
Yep.
How much total in square footage is it?
I should know this. I don't. It's around 300,000.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's an easy sell. Like someone is interested in buying that.
Yep.
This is going to sound like a dumb question as I hear it come out of my mouth, but do you feel like it was hard to build your portfolio? I say that just because you have the perspective of having done some single family rental purchases, then you got into storage. Do you feel like it was difficult to find, acquire, put the financing together, handle the operations side, all that kind of stuff? Do you feel like it was hard to go through the journey to where you got today? Or you feel like, yeah, I feel kind of lucky. I just kind of felt like I found something that was not too bad, not too hard.
No, that's not a dumb question. Man, that might be the best question of the night so far. Honestly, I feel very, very, very lucky. Right place, right time with a lot of those, and timing the market with storage. I was already in 4, we'll call it 5 deals, at least verbally accepted offers by the time COVID hit, or was like very beginning of COVID. And then storage took off after that. So I was already, I already had 5-ish deals, we'll call it. And then storage really became a hot asset class. And like the reason I talked about before, but rental demand went up too, which helped increase values of these too, and increase cash flow and everything else. So yeah, a lot of it was, I was already in real estate for, we'll call it 5 years, and I was grinding, right? I had 4 single families and 1 flip, but I was learning and I was taking action, and I was there for the opportunity to happen. So without a doubt, I got lucky, but I was also in a position for that to happen because I'd been in it, and I was literally, I was looking at everything and anything I could to get out of my job. So yeah, it was definitely, right time, right place. But I was also there putting the work in to make that happen.
How long did it take you to?
Go ahead.
Yes, go ahead.
You did alarms, right? Or fire systems?
No, I worked for a electrical service contractor.
Yeah, that's what you did.
Yep.
How long did it take you to replace that income?
The first 2 deals I did were smaller deals. If I would have hung on those for a yearish, I could have quit my job just with those, just to pay our expenses. And those numbers have changed now. If I would have just hung on those 2, I'd be able to quit my job and replace my income probably with those 2. But by the time my 3rd deal came around, my 3rd deal was a little bit bigger. That one, I believe, allowed us, I think at one point we surpassed what I was making. I was making good money. I was making, I don't think I've said this, I was making close to $200,000 a year at my sales job. And, that was in 19, I think I made that. And then COVID hit, things changed. But yeah, I was able to replace that with
you
my 3rd deal.
$200,000 in 3 deals.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where my questions were going, is like, what does a good deal look like for you? Obviously, as much as possible is an easy answer, but nowadays, like, what's your threshold? You said you're buying for cash flow. You could translate that to a percentage, which it doesn't sound like that is, or a dollar amount. So what does a typical deal, probably I could probably say now, because before it was probably you're maybe getting better deals, it sounded like, because it was just more low hanging fruit. But like, what's I'll buy that if it cash flows X amount of dollars.
Yeah, I mean, if it's $1,000 a month, like it's going to have to be a pretty small deal, and I'm definitely going to have to be in a market I'm already in. I've got to get 20% cash on cash return. I want my money back within 5 years. And that's not including like, okay, I think I can really push rates year 3. I'm not including that. I'm figuring, where do I think it'll be in year 1? So it's somewhat conservative. But yeah, I mean, at this point, and I was talking to a friend the other day that I don't want to say he doesn't want to scale, but he's happy kind of with where he's at, and he wants to kind of tighten things up in his operations. And he's asking me, why do you want to keep growing and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't think it's about me at this point. I really want to take care of the people around me, especially people that work for me. And the more deals I am able to take down, the more I can hire, and the more I can give back to the current people on our team. So that's kind of where I'm going. That's my thought process behind these deals. But yeah, I don't know if there's an exact amount per month that I need, but it's got to be at least 2,500, $3,000, and that's hopefully minimal work. And again, 20% cash on cash return. But yeah, we're hoping for numbers better than that.
So I know I can do some math, but what does that translate to a typical purchase price? What is a purchase price typically on average, about what you're looking at, translate to, and then how many units, what kind of size? I know a lot of variables can change that, but
yeah. I mean, I'll give you the 2 deals I'm looking at right now are very, very, very similar in terms of numbers. The one has 4 sites. The other one has 1 site, which is interesting, but same purchase price at 2.2. They both have around 300 to 350 units. The gross income is about the same. Expenses are close to the same. So the numbers are really close. Now, the one with the 4 sites is currently owned by a good operator, right? He was in Mike Wagner's Rebellion. He knows what he's doing. He's been pushing rates. I think there's a little bit of juice I can squeeze, but the other deal is an older, I believe and I'm working through a wholesaler, but I believe the seller's husband passed like a year or so ago. So she's not running it. They're just trying to figure out how to get out of it, legalities, taxes, all those things. They're trying to figure those things out. So they're not running the way it should be. So I know there's more meat on the bone with that one. There's also 2 industrial spaces there that need filled. So I know there's more upside with that one. But the numbers right now, probably year 1 or at least 6 months into it, both deals, they look very, very similar right now.
Bro, with that one you're buying from a good operator, this has been a theme that I've been talking about on the podcast. I don't want to buy deals from good operators because I feel like I'm a schmuck. So, like, what is your upside? Just like, bro, I have the scale, it'll pencil out and we'll be fine? Or what is your reasoning behind that?
I like the scale. I like the monopoly in one town. I don't think he's done a better job than what I do of increasing rents for current renters. But I think there's more to squeeze on street rates. I also believe with scale, I think it's about an hour from 2 of our locations. It's about 2 hours from me, but it's an hour from 2 of our locations, 2 other towns that we're in. So I do think that, just with scale, and again, with my exit at some point, when will that'll be? 5 years, 10 years, 20? I have no idea. But I do think that'll help with that exit, just because it's another town. It's another 4 sites, another 43,000 square feet, I think. So yeah, and I was hesitant. I mean, we've been talking, this is July. We've been talking at least a year, if not 16, 17 months on how this might look to put together. And finally today, we kind of came together to make things work. And he's financing my down payment. So it's, there's a lot of upside for both of us, I think.
When you talk about something coming in and disrupting you, and I know I feel like we may have had a drunk conversation talking about just concentration in one asset class. Do you still think about it the same way? Because I feel like you don't have a ton of concentration and you could go a lot bigger and still be fine.
You're asking if I should diversify, if I want to diversify?
Yeah, like you were talking about like diversifying. I'm like, bro, you just might as well go balls to the wall.
Yeah, it's funny. I love service businesses. I want to buy one at some point, but I've got younger kids, 11 and 8. I don't want to lose that time freedom. And I know there's going to be a period of time, no matter what business I buy, because it's new, right? Me buying a storage deal, it's not going to disrupt my day. I've got to do a little bit more with bank financing, sending banks financials and stuff. But once we take it down, it plugs into our operations, right? Buying a new business will absolutely take time, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, a year. It'll take some of my time. I don't want to lose that. And it's funny, every time I get close to like really thinking about and pulling the trigger on a business, like when I say pulling the trigger, making an offer, and was really close a couple of weeks ago, all of a sudden these storage deals kind of land in my lap. So I want to diversify, and I think that will be a service business at some point. It's just I'm not ready to do that as I continue to can scale with storage, especially in the markets that I'm in.
What's your day-to-day look like now? You said you're kind of out of the day-to-day operations wise. So what does your day-to-day look like right now? You're just kind of twiddling your thumbs and checking your bank account, or are you grinding, or are you out there prospecting, looking for deals? What does your day-to-day look like right now?
Yeah, and I mean, I think most people that, especially that you guys talk to, can't sit still. I can't sit still. Like I actually just bought the place I'm in right now. It's flex space. It's it's called Horsepower Farms. So it's a garage, and I've got a loft up here. I'm up in the loft right now, but it's a lot of people here have like exotic cars. And I bought this so that I could get out of the house and separate work from life. Because I find myself at home going to my office, like if I'm bored, go to my office for a half hour, 45 minutes. And honestly, a lot of it is more just big picture stuff. Like, where are we going? And it's definitely acquisitions, which to me is more big picture stuff too. But it's, more big picture stuff. What can we do to improve operations? What can we do to improve acquisitions? Stuff like that. Right now, we're kind of in transition with a couple things, and I'm more not in the day to day, but I'm working on the bigger picture stuff of those things. But yeah, it's more bigger picture stuff, and just trying to figure that out. Which I know sounds like a lot of fluff, but
it's a whole bunch of fluff, bro.
You're just moving papers around on your desk, dude.
I'm in there. I'm thinking. I don't have to hear my kids anymore.
Right.
I'm having a good time. I'm playing video games.
No, it's funny because when I hear people say that, I'm like, you're not doing anything. But it's amazing how every day, like, and I do my best to work a few hours in the morning, go home, come back for maybe another hour or two in the afternoon. So I'm working 5 to 6 hours probably in my office right now a day. Mentally, just like you guys, like I'm working way more than that. But yeah, there's always something that I can do without a doubt.
I just lost my train of thought.
How passive would you say the storage business is the way you have it set up now?
It's not. It's not passive. It's been sold like that, and I hate it because all these gurus and all these idiots are saying it's passive. It is not.
Fucking Mike Wagner, bro. Fucking Mike.
I wouldn't even say him. If you've got
Mike.
one site and you can hire a part-time person for $100 a month to kind of answer emails and text messages from renters and stuff like that, it can be somewhat passive. But at some point, you have to still manage people. You still have to manage the overall picture. It is not passive. It is a business. anyone that tells you it's 100% passive is they're lying. They're gurus. They're trying to sell a course. It's not passive.
There's
Nothing
a
in
lot of
life is
fucking
passive.
dipshits who rent storage facilities, I will say. Like, you deal with a lot of tomfoolery, for lack of better words.
Yep.
Like break-ins, there's way more break-ins at storage facilities than I ever thought. Like, it'll like run in droves. What else?
Yeah.
The other
Homeland?
day, we had someone who just got out of prison tell someone in the area that he was planning on like robbing our facility.
Yeah.
And it got word to like our boots on the ground. And I was like, geez, how fucking stupid are you? Like, to like make an announcement, just like shit like that. We got
I
to
love
call
how it got
cops.
to your guys.
It got to our guy. And just like shit like that, a door may not work, or someone doesn't do their job the right way, because a big thing is like the part-time-ish thing.
Yep.
And John's probably part of this. The part-time-ish thing, you get so much part-time effort
Yep.
to where it's hard to maintain I would say, a good company culture.
Yep. 100%. You
It's
nailed
a
it.
lot less passive.
Yeah, you nailed it. So it can be automated. It's not passive, right? So even like break-ins, homeless people staying on site, you can come up with systems that other people can take care of and take care of the issue, but you still have to manage them, help them along. Like there's still have to manage and lead too. Again, with one site, I don't. To me, talk about diversification. One site, you're in trouble at some point. Someone's either going to build next to you that's closer to the population, or they're going to come in and build, and they're going to cut their rates. Now the market's saturated, or people move out of town, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You can't have one facility and just put on autopilot and you're just going to chill the rest of your life. That's not life for one, and it's not going to work in storage.
Is there another asset class in the real estate space you feel like is more like that?
It's a good question. I think storage is the easiest to automate and put systems in, because it's not like, even if you got like a few single family rentals, you've got, you could have like one handyman, but what happens if that handyman gets hurt and can't work on your stuff anymore, or one contractor or whatever? There's always going to be issues there. It's easier, in my opinion, to set up systems in storage because you have the same issues that happen, right? Someone pays late, so you have the auction process. Someone breaks in a unit, so we have a process on how to fix that. Someone living in the unit, we have a process on how to fix that. Gate goes down, we have a contractor we use. Well, our maintenance guy is going to look first. Contractor we use, we also have a backup. So it's easier to have better systems to automate things because there's not as many moving parts. And for the most part, nothing's an emergency.
I'd say flex space is probably the most. Flex space and true triple net.
Triple net.
I was going to say
Triple net,
probably
you
because of
don't
the
really
triple
get
net
any
aspect.
upsides. Because like you lock it in, and then like unless you could do something with the lease, you aren't really creating a ton of equity value. But I think flex space is pretty sexy, bro.
You're saying there's less opportunity to create upside, like through that.
Yeah, like with triple net, I was on a call with the Bobby Castro guy, and he was like, if you are trying to actually grow your net worth, never buy a triple net property. He was like, it's super passive, yes, but like you just don't. There's not a whole lot of room for upside in those things because like the leases are really long too, and so unless you can figure out something that's really good, it's hard.
Yep.
Yeah, it almost have to be market conditions or market timing for that to go up in value. But all that stuff, the value is determined based on the income it produces. So,
yeah, I've got a buddy that's in triple net, and he buys a lot of them seller financed in more tertiary markets. So he's not buying them at like a 4 or 5 cap. I don't know what cap rates he's buying, but they're working for him because he's buying them in tertiary markets. It's usually one tenant, and they're there forever. And yeah, probably every 3 to 5 years he can increase rents a little bit. But yeah, there's not a ton. It's not like you're going to go in there and double the value overnight.
I would say triple net tertiary markets would freak me out because in a major market, if you have a vacancy, you're sitting on it for a year or two. In a tertiary market, bro, I feel like, oh my God,
I
The
agree.
downside risk is so big.
I looked at it, and that was exactly what I ran into. I'm like, there's no way. I don't trust this. All it takes is that one company to skip town, and how are you going to fill it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
Especially with the triple net side of it and tenant improvements. They go in there, they retrofit the building to exactly what they need, and then they bail out of town. They go belly up. Now you got this building that needs a remodel and needs a new tenant. That's tough.
Yep. I like
How many
flex
does that
space.
guy own?
What'd you say?
How many does that one guy own? That's terrifying, bro.
You may know him, and I'm not going to drop his name on
Yeah.
the podcast. He's a great dude. He's doing really well. I don't know how many he owns. If I were to guess, 30 to 50.
Oh my God. I mean, at least you have some sort of diversification across the towns.
Yep.
But you're making a 50-50 wager that it's going to go vacant or not. And as soon as it goes vacant, that thing is worthless.
Yeah.
And then you just kind of got to move on.
Yeah. Yep.
Do you own any flex space? Like, do you own the one you're in?
I own this, yeah. But it's not the whole park, right? It's just my unit. And this is different, right? That's, it's guys that own Porsches and Lambos, and they just store their cars here. So it's a little bit different. But yeah, I like flex space. I think it's in some places it's getting overbuilt. I think some places probably underbuilt. But yeah, I like flex space. But you're also dealing with better renters. But what comes with better renters is higher expectations. So when something gets broken that you have to take care of, they're going to want that done yesterday.
No.
So I think, there's pros and cons with every asset class. But yeah, flex space may be the one.
You have the best business I've heard of this year. By far.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, 3 employees, very minimal debt. Because I was telling him before this deal, I was like, bro, in order for us to generate a couple million in revenue, we had 100+ employees. You have 3 employees, and your expense ratio is at 25%. Like, bro, that's a banger.
Yeah.
I think it's the best asset class to get into if you actually want to get cash flow in real estate.
Agreed. Well, you think about it, and I don't think this is talked enough about. One, self-storage is real estate. It's also a business. So you get the appreciation, depreciation, like all the, kind of side piece advantages of real estate, but it's a business. So you also get cash flow. In my opinion, it's a little more risky than a lot of other asset classes because it's retail, right? If my occupancy drops 5%, where am I at? There's not much I can do about it because it's market demand. What can I do about it? In my opinion, single family rentals are the safest, but you're probably not going to cash flow that much. But 10 years from now, there's a good chance the value could double. So, it's, you got to kind of pick and choose. But yeah, if you're looking for cash flow, more than likely, single family rentals, apartments, it's probably not going to happen in those areas. What do you guys think?
Dean's starting to do apartments.
Yeah.
I haven't really looked into them heavy.
Yeah, I started that journey. I thought to myself, of all the different asset classes, what you said right there about plugging into something you already have and just being able to kind of roll with it and not have to learn something new, set up something new, hire different people. For me, it's multifamily. I've already got a single family portfolio. I'm looking and analyzing deals all day, every day, talking to homeowners, and putting deals together, both on the acquisition side and also the disposition side, as we do wholesale as well. So that in consideration, multifamily is just more buildings stuck together, So the major difference is really the financing of it, the financing structure. That being said, if it's not too big, there are some companies I found that will do a 30-year fixed. But yeah, so that's what I'm getting into, and more so just from the drive of I want to get into some bigger deals.
Yeah.
The market that I'm in, price points that I'm in, more or less fixed to a certain price, which limits how big the upside can be. We've done really big deals, but that's relevant to the area. So why can't a really big deal be a 7-figure profit deal? How do we get into those type of deals? Okay, well, now it's the multifamily.
Yep.
Well, Farling, what are some parting words you have for the people?
Parting words, man. What I just said, I thought was pretty good. Maybe not. I think it all depends where you're at, right? If you're trying to get into it, I do think you need to start with a solid foundation. I see too many people starting with, and right now it's tougher with the debt market, but a lot of people trying to start with syndicating. I think if there's a way you can save some type of money, and maybe you can't save cash, but maybe you can use, and listen, I've used my HELOC for the past decade. I still use it. I cashed out my 401k. I've made things work to get equity into deals. And I think that's where you got to start. You got to have your own equity put into deals and then have a solid foundation to where, like this deal that I am working on, where technically I'm 100% financed up front and I am putting 10% down, but also financing that 10%. I'm 100% leveraged day one, technically. So I need to create value there. Now I think I have a portfolio where I can do that. I can take a little bit more risk, but I see a lot of people doing that off the gate. They don't have a solid foundation. They don't have the cash flow to support that. That's where they get in trouble. So I think starting with equity in deals, putting equity into deals, taking down somewhat safer deals, build that cash flow, take more risk, going from there, and just stay in it. And you got to do it every day, right? It's no different from working out or anything else. If you do it every day, things will start to snowball and things will start to happen. But I see too many people dabble and they'll do something on a Monday and then next Thursday, maybe they'll do something for an hour. And then 2 weeks from then they'll read a book. And there's no momentum gained. So there's no traction that happens. And to me, that's beginners, and all the way in between up to experienced investors. Like you just got to stay at it and keep with it and gain traction, gain momentum.
Hell yeah, bro. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you guys so much. Well, thank you so much for coming on. Guys, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Farling, where can people find out more about you?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. Got a podcast called the Do More Podcast. So check me out there.
Hell yeah. Thank you so much for coming on, bro. Guys, we'll talk to you soon.
Appreciate you guys.